Hi, I'm Jay from AminoZ. Today, we're doing a review on the Gold Standard Pre-Advanced. This is the new release by Optimum Nutrition. They previously had the Gold Standard Pre-Workout. This is their advanced version. So let's look at this product, see what exactly is so advanced about it, and is it much of an improvement on the original? Let's start off with the ingredients. Let's pull up the information on your screen right now. Now you can see per serve of the key ingredients, there's 300 milligrams of caffeine, and that's caffeine anhydrous, 3.2 grams of beta-alanine, 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, 6 grams of micronized L-citrulline, and 1.2 grams of creatine nitrate. Worth noting, all of these doses are fairly standard. I mean, the creatine there is pretty mid-range. 300 milligrams is certainly not a high Stim pre-workout, because there are some pre-workouts out there that are 400 plus milligrams of caffeine. And then there are other pre-workouts that are 150, 200 milligrams. So this is very middle of the road in terms of stimulants, but then those other ingredients are fairly standard serving amounts. Now, I did just want to do a very quick comparison between this advanced formulation and the original Gold Standard pre-workout. Worth noting, in the new version, you are getting 300 milligrams of caffeine per serve. In the old version, you only get 175 milligrams per serve. And then when you look at some of the other key ingredients, there is a bit of overlap in the ingredients. So for example, in the old formulation, you have citrulline malate, you also have creatine and beta-alanine, all of which are significantly lower doses in the original formulation. Now, one thing worth considering is with the standard Gold Standard pre-workout, if you were to increase the serving amount to almost double, 1.7 times, so you got the same amount of stimulant, i.e. 300 milligrams of caffeine, you would still get a similar amount of creatine, but you'll note that the citrulline and the beta-alanine are significantly lower. We do find in this new formulation relative to caffeine, there is a higher abundance of some other key ingredients in there. With those ingredients I've mentioned, I think they're all pretty standard pre-workout ingredients. So obviously the caffeine is the stimulant. You also have L-citrulline, which can increase blood flow, pump, and also reduce fatigue. And then you've got beta-alanine, which is very popular. That's the one that will give you the tingles. So if you don't like those tingles, this pre-workout won't be for you. But beta-alanine does have the benefit of fatigue reduction and also increased power output. Now the other one is the creatine, and you'll note that there are two types of creatine in here, creatine monohydrate and creatine nitrate. The creatine nitrate actually has a trademark on the package, as you'll see up on your screen right now. It is actually NO3T, so that's a trademark of Thermolife International. Personally, I'm not a big fan of these patented trademarks. It's creatine nitrate at the end of the day. And I guess, look, it looks good on the package to go, okay, there's this fancy trademark, but it's creatine nitrate. Now the thing is, between creatine monohydrate and creatine nitrate, monohydrate is the one that is really well researched over the years. I mean, it's been studied for decades now. Creatine nitrate is a much newer ingredient. There isn't as much research to support it. So I do wonder why they added in the creatine nitrate. You're already getting 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, which is ample for a pre-workout. Why is the nitrate there on top of that? Is it a bit of a point of difference? Perhaps, but is it all that beneficial? I think the jury's out on that one. Now, besides those key ingredients, there are a few other elements to this pre-workout. To start off with, there are some vitamins. You've got vitamin D and vitamin C. Now, vitamin C comes in at 200 milligrams per serve, and the vitamin D comes in at 10 micrograms. Now, that's the equivalent of 400 international units per serve, or IU. Admittedly, these are fairly small doses of vitamins, and if you're deficient in those vitamins, sure, it could be beneficial, but you don't really take a pre-workout for the vitamin hit. I don't know how beneficial this is going to be in your pre-workout formulation though. There is, however, also an electrolyte blend. Now, this is quite unique about a pre-workout. Typically, you'll find an electrolyte blend in an intra-workout formulation because as you sweat, you're losing electrolytes, sodium and potassium, magnesium and calcium in particular. And so as you're drinking that during your workout, you're replenishing those electrolytes. This formulation has sodium, magnesium, and also calcium in it. There's 650 milligrams in total for this blend. I don't know how much of an impact it will have. I mean, if you're taking this before your training session, your electrolytes probably are already at a reasonable level, but sure, it doesn't hurt to have them in there. Now, worth noting, the flavoring is a combination of natural and artificial flavoring. The sweetener is sucralose, which is an artificial sweetener, and the coloring is natural in the strawberry mango daiquiri flavor while being artificial in the other two flavors. I've done a quick tally on all the active ingredients, and if we take out the active ingredients out of the 20-gram serve, it leaves us with about 3.4 grams, which can be attributed to the flavoring, the coloring, and the sweetener. Now, just going back to the original Gold Standard Pre, two ingredients that they left out worth noting is the acetyl-L-carnitine and the tyrosine. Tyrosine can help with focus, and also acetyl-L-carnitine can help with cognitive function and focus as well, because it does cross the blood-brain barrier. It's interesting that they left these two ingredients out, but we must also consider one serve of this is 20 grams. So if they wanted to add that in, that's an even bigger serving size. I don't think it's a big issue that they left those ingredients out, because ultimately this one is a fairly simple and clean formulation. Look, ultimately with the ingredients in the pre-advanced, it's very middle of the road. The caffeine is right down the middle. It's a moderate stim. The dosages of those key ingredients are stock standard. And really there are no ingredients in there that won't have any major benefit. I mean, there's some vitamins and electrolytes which look nice, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's nice to have them in there. For me, that's fairly neutral. All in all, there's nothing wrong with this formulation. I think it's very good, especially if you're looking for a really clean, appropriately dosed pre-workout. We're gonna give this a 7 out of 10. Now onto the macronutrients. You'll see up on your screen, there's the nutritional information. Per serve, it's only 5 calories, and that's primarily coming from the 1 gram of carbohydrate in the formulation. This is exactly what you'd expect in a pre-workout, so full marks here at 10 out of 10. Now onto the label transparency, and for me this is a really transparent label. Each of the key ingredients is listed on there with its corresponding dosage per serve. I think that's fantastic. It even goes the extra mile to specify the flavoring, that it's a combination of natural and artificial flavoring, and that's not always commonplace, especially with pre-workout products. There are no ridiculous claims on here. It is all very factual. It just states the ingredients that are on there, and that's about it. But look, in terms of transparency, if I'm gonna be really picky about this, there is one thing, and that's the concept of the advanced on the label. There's two ways of looking at this. Number one, is it advanced relative to this pre-workout? I would argue yes, because the Gold Standard pre-workout is a lot lower dosed in a lot of the similar ingredients that are in the two of them. And therefore, that's going to appeal more to your novice, someone starting out, someone who is probably more inclined to have a lot less caffeine in their pre-workout. This is a lot more and would appeal to the person who is looking for that higher level of stimulant and also a higher level of dosage of those key ingredients. But the other way of looking at this is this advanced relative to the other pre-workouts on the market? And you know what? I don't know. As I said, it's middle of the road. There are no new or exciting ingredients in this formulation. It's clean, it's transparent, but it is not new and innovative, which is what I would normally associate with a product that has the claim advanced on it. I think this is being really picky. I'm pretty sure they're referring to this versus the original pre-workout, but I thought it's worth mentioning. For that, I'm not going to take a mark off because overall the label is very transparent. I don't believe this is misleading at all, so a full 5 out of 5 in terms of transparency. Next up, directions and servings. So one serve is 20 grams, which they say is about 1 scoop. We tested that out, and you'll see that we put in a slightly heated scoop, but that came out to be exactly 20 grams. So that's great. You don't always see an exact result with a scoop serve. One point to note though, as with any pre-workout, over time they do tend to absorb a little bit of moisture, so the density of the product may change, and therefore the volume to weight ratio may alter. So it's usually best to use a set of scales in order to measure out that you are actually getting the 20 grams that you want. On the servings, they do say to add that 1 scoop into 6 to 8 fluid ounces of water and consume 15 to 30 minutes before working out. Number one is, I wish they would write mils on the label. Look, I know this is an American product. They put fluid ounces in because they deal in that, but come on. Optimum Nutrition, you do have the budget to create an Australian label with mils on it. But anyway, for our purposes, you add in approximately 300 mils. 1 fluid ounce is just under 30 mils of water. In terms of the directions, I've got no issues. The scoop size is great. The suggestion to have this 15 to 30 minutes pre-workout is great. That's just enough time for the caffeine to start to get into your system, and you can take advantage of that stimulant and also the other ingredients in the mix. So full marks here are 5 out of 5. Now let's move on to the flavor options, and we have 3 flavors available. First is Berry Blast. We also have Raspberry Lime Mojito and Strawberry Mango Daiquiri. I've got to say, the flavor options are very unique, and I love the little twist that they've added onto it, like a mojito or a daiquiri. It sounds really exciting. Now look, there are 3 flavor options, and when we compare the total number of flavor options relative to the other pre-workouts that we stock in the category, this comes out in the top 35% of the category with 3 options. So as a result, we're giving this a score of 3 out of 5. Moving on to the taste. And I think most of us will agree, taste is pretty important here. First thing you've got to know, as with most products out of the USA, all of these flavors are pretty sweet and candied. Americans love their sweet stuff, and the flavors here are really no different to what you would expect of a typical US product. Let's start off with the raspberry lime. Now the raspberry resembles the raspberry of a red frog. If you remember the sweet red frogs, it's really, really candied, like you'd expect in the lolly. Then overlay that with a green jelly bean for that lime flavor, and then mesh them together for this raspberry lime. It's a little bit fragrant, it's quite sweet, it's very lolly-ish, but it's pleasant to drink. I think that it's reasonably nice for a pre-workout, but personally, I didn't find that there was much of a wow factor to this flavor. Although I must commend them because this is a quite unique flavor. I don't think I've tried this flavor before. Next up, the strawberry mango. Now, the mango I really liked in this. It provides a really good base to the flavor, and then that's overlaid with a sweet, again, candy-like strawberry to complement the mango base. Personally, I found this one to be the best and the most enjoyable out of the range. I thought it was really good. They really nailed the mango on this. The strawberry was nice too, but it was that mango that really resembled a true, nice, sweet, ripe mango. Finally, the Berry Blast. This one really resembled blueberries. Personally, I felt like the flavor lacked a little bit of depth, whereas each of the other 2 flavors had like a combination and it made the flavor profile quite interesting. This one was just a very monotone blueberry taste, and yeah, I thought it was good. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but I felt like it could have been just that little bit more interesting. You have so many berries to play around with. I felt like there could be a little bit more depth there. But hey, it was nice. I must say, out of all 3 flavors, none of them left a nasty aftertaste. They were quite pleasant to consume right from the first time that the flavor hits right through to where it lingers afterwards. All in all, I think these flavors are pretty good, especially for a pre-workout because the flavoring in a pre-workout is often quite hard to master. One thing I must commend Optimum Nutrition on are the unique flavor profiles, especially with the raspberry lime and the strawberry mango. None of these flavors were bad. I felt like overall they were above average for each of them, but for me, the strawberry mango really stood out. So for the taste, we're giving this a score of 8 out of 10. All right, let's move on to the solubility and texture of this product. I'll give you a little bit of a demo on how this product mixes. I've got here the Berry Blast. So here in my shaker, I just have straight water. This is just at room temperature, about 300 mils, as per the recommendations. I'll add in 1 scoop into my shaker. That's gonna be approximately 20 grams or 1 serving. Do note that because this is so fine, there's a little bit of powder that flies around, so be careful when you're adding it in, and then just give it a little bit of a shake. Now, as you can see there, initially there is a little bit of froth, but you can also see that that is very quickly diminishing. So that's fine. And in terms of solubility, look, there is a little bit down the bottom, which you may be able to see there. It's not too bad. It doesn't mix exceptionally well upon an initial shake. I might just need to give that a little bit more of a shake. But it's not bad either. Upon drinking this, it's very pleasant to drink. There is just a little bit of residue down the bottom. That's the only thing. So look, all in all, I think this performs fine for a pre-workout. There's no major issue with it. In terms of solubility, we're gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Now let's move on to the value for money component and start off with the size options. At the moment, we only have one size, and that's the 20 serve or 400 gram size. This is actually quite common for a lot of pre-workouts. Very few come in more than one size. And when we do rank it compared to all the other pre-workouts in the category, it actually ranks in the top 29% because most pre's are that single size. So in terms of the size options, this one scores a 4 out of 5. Now let's move on to the packaging. Probably the first thing you will notice with this is how big this tub is. I mean, it's 20 serves, but it's huge. This tub is a similar size, if not the same size, to the original gold standard pre-workout, but the 60 serve version. But when you actually look inside, as you can see up on your screen right now, the tub is roughly about 3/4 full. So it's an appropriately sized product. The reason why is because the serving size is so big at 20 grams. Now the jar itself is a recyclable HDPE black jar. It's really solid. It's leak-free, so you can take it traveling or chuck it into your gym bag. There's no issues with this at all. It is very good quality. Included inside the pre-workout, you've got a scoop and you've got 2 desiccants to absorb any moisture, and that's really important because pre-workouts do tend to get clumpy after a while. I love the fact that they've added in 2 desiccants instead of the standard 1. So that's really good. It's a great sign of quality from this brand. Now, also worth noting, the jar has both an external seal and also an internal seal. So when you buy it, you know that it hasn't already been opened. I think that these are all great attributes to this product. I cannot fault the packaging at all. So let's give this a full score of 5 out of 5. Now, in terms of the product contents, as you can see up on your screen now, we opened up a jar and we weighed it. It claims 400 grams. In total, it came out at exactly 400 grams. So they are putting into the product exactly what they are advertising. Full marks here, 10 out of 10. And now onto the price range. Look, so far so good, right? It tastes good, it's got a great ingredient profile, it mixes pretty well, it's transparent, no issues, right? Well, then we get to the price. For 20 serves, you're paying around $50. So that's like $2.50 per serve. And when we compare that to all the other pre-workouts in the category, that ranks this product at the bottom 19%. Yes, it's frickin' expensive. Now, even when we compare it to the 60 serve version of the original gold standard pre-workout, the 60 serve is less than $10 more than the 20 serve in the new product. So I have to ask, why are we paying so much more for this product relative to all the other pre-workouts on the market? Okay, so let's go back to the differentiators of this product. Yes, it's got some unique flavors. I don't know if you can justify such a price hike because of the unique flavors. The formulation itself, as I mentioned, is very middle of the road. You've got a moderate amount of stimulant, you've got appropriately dosed ingredients, but there's nothing new or particularly innovative about this product besides those unique flavors. Now, the only other thing is, it is the Optimum Nutrition brand, and sure, they've got quite a bit of brand equity. It's a good quality product. You know, these guys have been around for ages. It's one of, if not the world's most popular brand. So look, there is a bit of brand equity in the brand itself, but I still feel for the product that it is, the price point is just a little bit on the high side for 20 serves. As I mentioned, it comes in the bottom 19% when we compare the price per serve to all the other pre-workouts in the category. I think we should give an extra point here because look, it is Optimum Nutrition and they have gone a little unique with the flavor profiles, and also it is a nice and a clean quality formulation. However, I really can't score this too highly because per serve you are paying a premium. If you've got a bit of extra money to spend on a pre-workout and you just want a really clean formulation, well, this one might be the one for you. Ultimately, look, it's expensive, and if you're looking for a quality product and you've got a little bit of extra cash to spend, well, this one might be right up your alley. So all up, we're giving the price range a 3 out of 10 here. To sum up, if you're looking for something that's clean with a reputable brand behind it, then perhaps this is the product for you. Just so long as you have the extra room in your supplement budget to afford this premium product. It's got very unique flavors, the mixability is quite good, and the ingredient lineup is very solid, which makes this pre-workout a great new offering from Optimum Nutrition. All in all, when we add all the scores up, this comes out at a very healthy 80 out of 100.